And we are live. Welcome to Travel Insights, powered by the leading travel and tourism daily news portal, traveldailynews.com International Edition. I'm Chryssa Skodra, and in this interview series, I have the chance to interview thought leaders, professionals, academics, and practitioners in tourism, aviation, and hospitality industries. We are streaming live on our website as well as on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. Thank you for tuning in and watching us live. Today, I have the pleasure to welcome Dr. Vasilios Ziakas. Welcome, Dr. Ziakas.
Hello, Chryssa. Thank you for inviting me.
My pleasure. You are the right authority to talk about today's topic, which is event portfolios and sustainable destination management. You are the thought leader who has conceptualized event portfolios as a means of multipurpose development and what it means for culture and a sport policy in cities and destinations. Your research is well cited, and you are publishing extensively. You're currently writing your new book. You are tuning in and having this interview with me from England. Is that right?
Yes,
You're teaching there at the University of Liverpool as well as the University of Surrey. So thank you for taking the time to join me here in the studio. So please help us understand, first of all, what are the developments that have accelerated the emergence of event portfolios?
the first factor is the efforts of cities and destinations to maximize and sustain the benefits that can derive from events. And in this, we have disappointment in many host communities and cities.
Mm-hmm.
Disappointment with the large scale and mega events, which are one off, and they don't deliver the benefits that were expected in the first place. This has led to a realization that individual standalone events, especially the one-off events, is very difficult to really meet the expectations of deriving sustainable benefits for destinations. So
Mm-hmm.
this has led to a change in the way cities engage with events in their hosting strategies. And the other way, the change is that instead of capitalizing on one-off standalone events, they try to create a permanent structure, which is an event portfolio of periodic events that take place throughout the year.
Exactly. And this is the definition. I will ask you in detail about the strategic objectives of cities and destinations and how they can capitalize on events. But if we define again one more time for those listening and they're not yet familiar with the topic of event portfolio, I find it a very fascinating topic and I'm very personally interested. I believe in its power and I think that it should be in place, that every city destination should have an event portfolio in place. So please give us a short definition, as you just did, that is very clear to everybody who is not familiar with the topic.
Yes, well, an event portfolio is basically an annual program of a series of different events. Uh, this can happen in the community level or in an organizational level. The important thing here is that the not a random program of miscellaneous events, but it is
Hmm.
strategically designed. It is strategically designed to distribute events throughout the year and then trying to achieve multiple purposes. Either these
Hmm.
are economic, political, social, and so on. Why? Because there are different kinds of events which can serve different policy purposes.
Hmm.
Thing is that it is coordinated. It is coordinated as a and basically it works as a living organism, so that the different events are elements of a broader system. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
we should see the portfolio as a living organism, as a system, which means what? That the whole of the portfolio of the different events can derive value that is more than the value that could derive from the individual events alone. So basically, this means that it is a systemic, holistic perspective that we apply on event portfolios in
Mm-hmm.
using multiple events in order to achieve multiple purposes. And
Mm-hmm.
this holistic perspective means that we overcome the fragmentation that we face in events when we divide the sport events, cultural events, festivals, and so on. From a portfolio perspective, we don't have this kind of fragmentation. We try holistically to create
Mm-hmm.
synergies among these different events, no matter their types or sizes.
Exactly. So it's a very holistic, synergistic approach to avoid the fragmentation that has been, I think, a known
Exactly.
thing. And you talked about the paradigm shift and the emergence of event portfolios. And we are knowing very well that the DMOs, the destination management organizations, in the past, and still many DMOs are focusing on destination branding and creating the storytelling and the narratives. I do see event portfolios as a way, as you mentioned, to shift the attention of the DMOs not only to from the narrative and storytelling point of view, which is also very useful, but to see, as today's topic is, the destinations as sustainable destinations, the sustainability, their overall competitiveness, and as you said, the strategic objectives. What are the other benefits for the cities and destinations has such an approach of implementing an event portfolio?
Yes, well, there are many benefits. I will try here to be brief and starting from the most important, which is basically event portfolio, can optimize the potential of events to contribute sustainable destination development. So how can this be achieved? First of all, because we have different kinds of events that we go from one event to another, this way we can sustain the event benefits on the condition that events are synergized somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Then we can diversify the tourism product through different events, and also we can diversify the event offer that we have in one city or in one organization.
Mm-hmm.
Then, in terms of tourism specifically, we can combat seasonality. We can extend the tourist season by hosting events, scheduling events in off-peak periods, okay, in off-season.
Mm-hmm.
Then we can broaden the reach of target markets by hosting selected events to specific target markets that we want our destination to appeal.
Mm-hmm.
Then, by having these different events together, we can achieve of resources. Why? Because we can save resources for the different type of events. And then on this basis, we can also enhance collaboration because the event portfolio can become a platform that the different event stakeholders come together
Mm.
to work for the event portfolio. So these are
Exactly.
the major benefits that we can have from the portfolios.
You mentioned exactly the synergy and the different stakeholders involved. What synergy should be created in order for event portfolios in a city, in a destination, to have a sustainable impact? What synergies do you see that should be happening?
Yes, we can distinguish the synergies at the policy level, at the inter-organizational level, operational level, and then thematic levels. These are four synergies, major synergies that I mentioned. First of all, at the policy level, we have to develop a comprehensive policy of how the different events can achieve multiple policies. Okay, so we can target the different events for achieving economic policy, other events for social benefits, other events for environmental benefits, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Then the other synergy is the inter-organizational. We need to create a network of bringing together the different stakeholders, the different organizations that support the events to work together. Then at the operational level, I mentioned before, we need to share resources. Okay, so operationally, the sharing of resources is crucial, okay, of creating the
Mm-hmm.
synergies. And then we should not forget the thematic level. The themes of what the events talk about and what they're about, also this could be synergized in order not to say the same thing, but the different events to say a larger story, okay,
Mm-hmm.
about the destination, about a city
Mm.
through having these different themes with some commonalities
Mm.
throughout the
But there has to
portfolio.
be a red thread, right, throughout the events under the event portfolio.
Exactly.
So the event portfolio is an umbrella term throughout the year, and each event has to tell a part of the story that it's cohesive, right? That there is a red thread amongst all the events, and they, of course, they target different objectives, but they make sense as a whole.
Uh, I, I I usually use the metaphor that the event portfolio is like a TV drama. Okay, it is a story that we see in different episodes. Okay, so each event is a different episode in a bigger drama.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Ziakas, do you have examples, successful examples of destinations and cities that have implemented event portfolios? Could you name some such examples?
Several examples. Here it is make a distinction between organic portfolios. The formalized portfolios are the ones that are institutionalized and have a formal official strategy. Okay, uh, we have examples Edinburgh in Scotland, Göteborg in Sweden, Gold Coast in Australia, Sunshine Coast again in Australia, Manchester in England, Auckland in
Mhm,
New Zealand. Okay, all these are formalized portfolios that they have an official strategy and they explicitly have established structures
mhm,
and mechanisms to deliver and operationalize the portfolio. Then with the organic portfolios, we have a less formal. These communities may not use the term portfolio. They don't have an official strategy that they host in the portfolio, but still they follow organically or if, some portfolio principles. Okay, so they
mhm,
have a program of events and then they try to create synergies among these different events in order to achieve policy purposes. So this kind of organic portfolios are actually the majority that we can see in the world. Many
mm,
communities are having that with as the time is passing by, it is expected that these organic portfolios will become more and more formalized.
mhm. And better well thought, right? Rather than being ad hoc events that they're being created and added later on to the calendar of what the city has to offer to its citizens and visitors, right? But it needs a little bit planning beforehand and with the strategic objectives, the policy, sport, leisure, culture. So it's a more integrated approach. I understand that perhaps cities that you mentioned, successful examples, have those they are forerunners and pioneers already. But you said that in the future, you see that more of the organic portfolios will move into a more formalized approach. So I would like to ask you, What is the future of event portfolios? You are the person, I can share some of your work here on screen. This is the event portfolio management book, Theory and Practice for Event Management and Tourism, as well as uh, this one here, event portfolio planning and management, and many others, and a lot of academic journals that you are writing. So tell us a little bit about the future of event portfolios, not only from your academic and research point of view, but also in the practical implementation. How does the future look?
The future looks very promising from a portfolio perspective because this is the way to go. If we want to overcome the fragmentation of events, the ad hoc use of events, and to try to integrate events in the policies and in the structures of cities, the event portfolio is the only way to do that.
Mm-hmm,
So in the future, as I said, we will see more portfolios uh, being transformed from organic to formalized.
mm-hmm,
Then we will see, because the portfolio is a versatile policy tool, and it depends on the host, on the contexts of each community. We're going to see a variety of forms and use. We
mm-hmm,
may also see multiple portfolios. So a C1 event portfolio, but different portfolios
mm-hmm,
with different character, with different objectives, and so on, and with different composition of events.
mm-hmm,
And it is expected that we will see and the positions, jobs for portfolio managers. Uh, People, staff responsible for overseeing, designing, and monitoring the offer.
mm-hmm. Great. Is there something, Dr. Ziakas, that we didn't cover in this short time that you absolutely would like to mention regarding event portfolios and sustainable destination management?
Yes, I would like to mention the knowledge. What is the knowledge that practitioners working on this area should have in order to implement successful event portfolios? And this knowledge is mainly okay about four things.
Mm-hmm,
The first thing is that they should have knowledge about how events complement one another. Okay, so this is
mm-hmm,
about complementarities. Okay, in event portfolio, when we talk about synergies, is about how we can create complementarities between a different type of events. These complementarities can be about sharing resources and volunteers who are critical for the implementation of events. So we
mm-hmm,
can have a volunteer pool that we can take volunteers from one event to another.
mm-hmm,
Then it is about knowledge from one event to another. Then also it is about theming, as I mentioned before, how the different theming that we use can have some commonalities among the different type of events in order to say a larger story. And it is also about engendering and uh, maintaining supplementary markets. Okay, so through different type of events, we can engender new markets, and also we can supplement
and target groups.
some of the existing target groups. Yes, because in the events there is a traveling party, for example. Okay, so people don't travel alone. So
Mhm,
through an event portfolio, we can have complementary events that are targeting the other parties that are with the main target market.
mhm,
So these are the complementarities, one thing. Second, a very important thing is the coordination of the event and the
mhm,
design of an event. So practitioners should have an understanding of how they can design, how they can compose the different type of events, and how they can coordinate. And the critical understanding here is that the marketing mix is about the whole portfolio. So it is not the marketing mix of each event, but it's about
Mm-hmm.
creating the marketing mix of the whole portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
Then
And this
it is
adds to the sustainability as
about
well, right?
evaluation. Evaluation,
And this adds to the sustainability, of course.
exactly.
It's not a waste of
Then it,
resources per event, but it's a more holistic understanding of the whole marketing mix, the whole event mix, the event portfolio, and then
yes,
maximizing on the resources and the impact. Is that
yes,
right?
and this is the change in thinking from
Mm-hmm.
event portfolio. So
Mm.
it
The
is not
paradigm
about the
shift that you
marketing.
talked about.
Yes, it is not about designing the marketing mix of each ad hoc event, but it's
Mm.
about creating the marketing mix of a series of events. It's a much
Right.
broader picture.
Mm. Mm.
Uh,
It needs a change
then
of thinking and a change of resources. Yeah, go on, Dr. Ziakas.
Yes. Then it is about evaluation. Evaluation is a very complex task from a portfolio perspective because we need to evaluate, again, not the individual events, but we need to evaluate the effects of one event to another and
Mm-hmm.
then the effects of each event to the whole portfolio.
Mm.
And this requires sophisticated evaluation tools. And the other thing we mentioned about the network and the different stakeholders that come together, the operation of an event portfolio is basically relationship management. Okay, so practitioners need to have the skills of stakeholder management to create and to maintain relationships among different stakeholders.
And we need, obviously, in the future, I would see it, event portfolio managers. So I would see that in every destination, in every organization, there would be such a person with this diverse skill set to manage event portfolios, to be able to communicate with a variety of stakeholders, to understand policies and the higher level strategic objectives, as well as the bottom grassroots level, dealing with volunteers, the practical implementation of events, and so on. Dr. Ziakas, I would like to thank you for your insights and for your time. I know you're very busy, you're writing your new book. Uh, so thank you for joining me.
Thank you also for giving me the opportunity to talk about event portfolios. I hope
Thank
that it is a short talk, but I hope that it has been of some value.
I think so. We gave a lot of insights, and of course, follow Dr. Ziakas' work by searching him. He is very well written and research. He has researched a lot, and he's well cited. So follow his work for more insights. So I would like to thank you, Dr. Ziakas. So for all of you, thank you for tuning in and listening. This is Travel Insights, hosted by Travel Daily news.com international edition. Every Wednesday we go live with another episode, with another interesting topic being analyzed by leading experts. If you have your own insights to share, please reach out to me at this email, and I'd love to talk to you, and perhaps you could be featured on Travel Insights. So I would like to thank you for tuning in and listening, and I will see you next week on Wednesday. Bye.